Welcome back to Cinema Screen. Today we're diving into a captivating 2013 sci-fi thriller, Elysium. Be warned, spoilers are ahead. Proceed with caution and enjoy the journey. The story begins at the end of the 21st century, with Earth transformed into a polluted wasteland, overwhelmed by waste and plagued by disease. Due to these dire conditions, the wealthy have left Earth and created a luxurious space station named Elysium, which orbits the planet. Here, they live in comfort, safe from the troubles facing those on Earth. A young boy named Max da Costa lives in a children's home and often gazes up at Elysium, dreaming of a different life. During his time there, he meets a girl named Fry who teaches him to read and write. Max becomes fascinated by Elysium, learning more about it and promising Fry that he'll one day take her there. Years later, in 2154, we see an adult Max living in Los Angeles. He leaves his home to head to work. While waiting to board a bus, two robotic police officers arrive and ask to search his bag due to his past criminal record. Max responds with a joke, which leads the officers to assault him. Injured, he later visits a hospital for treatment, where he unexpectedly meets Fry, now a nurse. While treating Max, she jokingly asks if he's still stealing cars. Max replies that he's left that life behind and now works for the Armadine Company. As he prepares to leave the hospital, Max invites Frey to join him for dinner, or even just a cup of coffee. Frey only agrees to the coffee. Max goes to the police station to report the assault, but he doesn't get the justice he seeks. Frustrated, he heads to his workplace instead. The next scene shows a large group of people preparing to board a shuttle to Elysium by paying to be smuggled there illegally. As each person boards the shuttle, a unique code is marked on their hand. This entire smuggling operation is run by a man named Spider and his team. 3 shuttles, each filled with passengers, launch toward Elysium. However, Elysium's defense system detects these illegal transports, and the guards alert the station's Secretary of Defense, Delacourt. She investigates the situation and issues warnings to the shuttles. When the warnings fail, Delacourt orders Agent Kruger, her hired assassin, to shoot down the shuttles, providing him with the coordinates. Kruger fires at the shuttles, destroying 2 of them, but one manages to evade the attack and successfully lands on Elysium. Once on Elysium, the passengers scatter. Delacourt quickly orders her security team to capture everyone. Among the passengers, a mother carrying her child, who uses crutches, reaches a nearby house equipped with a medical device. She places her child inside, and the device miraculously heals the child's leg, enabling her to walk again. However, the mother, her child, and all the others who manage to escape are eventually arrested and deported back to Earth. Later that day, while on his way home from work, Max runs into his friend Giulio, who proposes a car theft job. Max, uninterested, turns down the offer and leaves. The next day, Max returns to work, but as he's working, he struggles with a pallet of robotic parts jammed in the furnace door, preventing it from closing properly. The supervisor tells Max to enter the furnace to clear the jam. Max hesitates, but the supervisor warns that he'll lose his job if he doesn't do it. Reluctantly, Max steps into the furnace, removes the pallet, and as the door closes, the furnace suddenly activates. Trapped inside, Max is severely burned by the intense heat. After the furnace stops, a medical robot pulls Max out and informs him that he's been exposed to a lethal dose of radiation and only has 5 days left to live. The robot prescribes him painkillers to ease his suffering for the remaining days. Shortly after, John Carlyle, the head of the facility, arrives and orders Max to be removed so production can resume. Meanwhile, back on Elysium, President Patel reprimands Delacourt for her violent actions, warning her, and fires Agent Kruger from his position. Max, now weak and barely able to walk, makes his way home where his friend Giulio helps him inside. Max confides in Giulio about what happened and reveals that if he can reach Elysium, he might be able to heal himself. To do this, Max decides to ask his old friend, Spider, for help securing a ticket to Elysium. That night, Giulio and Max go to see Spider. Max tells him about his need to get to Elysium. Initially, Spider is reluctant, but eventually agrees to help on one condition. Spider wants Max to hijack an incoming millionaire from Elysium, steal all the valuable data stored in his brain, like bank accounts, and bring it back. Max accepts the proposal, but due to his weakened condition from the radiation, Spider's team decides to enhance his body by attaching a 3rd-generation robotic exoskeleton to his nervous system. Max mentions that his target will be none other than John Carlyle, the head of Armadine. Meanwhile, on Elysium, John Carlyle meets with Delacourt to renew his company's contract with Elysium. Delacourt takes him aside and proposes a plan. If John alters Elysium's system to replace the president, it would secure his contract for another 200 years. John agrees and returns to Earth. Soon after, Spider's team sedates Max and performs surgery to fuse the robotic exoskeleton with his body, preparing him for his mission. The next morning, Max wakes up and prepares for the mission to capture John. At the same time, John, who has downloaded the data required to reboot Elysium's system into his brain, is ready to leave for Elysium. Max and his team wait in hiding until John's shuttle takes off with him and 2 robot guards on board. As the shuttle ascends, Max fires at one of its engines, causing it to crash. The crash alerts Elysium's security, and Delacourt quickly learns of the situation. To rescue John, she asks Agent Kruger for help, but he agrees only if she reinstates him. Delacourt agrees and sends Kruger a shuttle to the mission. Meanwhile, Max and his team reach the crash site, where they are attacked by John's robot guards. After a tough fight, Max and his team manage to destroy the 2 robots, but during the scuffle, a bullet from one of their guns accidentally hits John. As John is dying, Max downloads all the data stored in John's brain into his brain. Just then, Kruger arrives and launches an attack on Max and his team. Kruger deals a brutal blow to Max, and when Julio tries to defend him, Kruger kills him. Max manages to fight back, landing a blow on Kruger before escaping. Kruger chases him in his shuttle, but Max manages to evade him. Frustrated, Kruger dispatches drones to search for Max, and Delacourt imposes a strict lockdown on Los Angeles until they locate him. Max eventually reaches the hospital where Fry works and asks her for help. She prepares to take him inside, but Max warns her that it's too dangerous, as the people searching for him will find and kill him if he's taken into the hospital. Frey then decides to take Max to her home, where she treats his severe injuries. The next morning, as Max wakes up and talks with Fry, he is surprised to see her daughter, Matilda, there. Realizing that staying longer could put both Frey and Matilda in danger, Max prepares to leave. However, Frey reveals that Matilda is in the final stages of leukemia and asks Max to help her reach Elysium for treatment. Feeling guilty but not wanting to risk their safety, Max declines and leaves. As he steps outside, he is spotted by one of Kruger's drones, and although he tries to escape, he ends up having to disable it. Using information from the drone, Kruger tracks down Fry's house and breaks in, demanding to know Max's location. Frey insists she doesn't know where Max is, so Kruger decides to take both Frey and Matilda with him, loading them onto his shuttle. Meanwhile, when Max meets Spider, he learns that the data in his brain is highly valuable, explaining why Elysium's airspace is locked down. Spider and Max check the data and discover that it can reboot Elysium's system, granting citizenship to everyone on Earth. But Max says he wants to go to Elysium. When Spider warns him it's not possible right now, Max prepares to leave. Before he goes, Spider discreetly places a tracker on Max. Max then returns to the location of the downed drone and uses its camera to broadcast his location to Kruger. Soon, Kruger and his team arrive in a shuttle, and Max, holding a grenade, threatens to detonate his brain data if he takes him to Elysium's medical facility to retrieve the data. Kruger agrees and brings Max aboard the shuttle. Once inside, Max is surprised to see Fry and Matilda there as well. At that moment, Delacourt reactivates Elysium's airspace system, as they have finally located Max. With Elysium's airspace now active, Spider and his team also set off toward Elysium after tracking Max's location via the tracker attached to him. As Kruger's shuttle carrying Max approaches Elysium, Kruger and his men attack Max, causing the grenade in Max's hand to slip and activate. The grenade detonates close to Kruger, severely injuring his face. The explosion also damages the shuttle, which then crashes onto Elysium. Delacourt, hearing about the crash, orders Elysium's security forces to arrest everyone on board. Fry, seeing that Matilda is unconscious due to her illness, takes her to a nearby house and places her on a medical machine. However, the machine doesn't activate, as Matilda lacks the citizenship code required on Elysium. Security then apprehends Frey and Matilda. Meanwhile, as Max fights Kruger's men, they overpower him and take him into custody. By this time, Spider and his team arrive on Elysium and begin searching for Max. Delacourt, upon capturing Max, orders 2 technicians to extract the data from Max's brain and upload it into Elysium's system. The technicians warn that doing so will kill Max, but Delacourt disregards this, saying she doesn't care if Max dies. At the same time, Kruger, his face disfigured, is placed in a medical machine by his men, restoring his face to its original state. Later, Max manages to overpower the 2 guards near him and demands to know where Fry and Matilda are, preparing to go rescue them. In the meantime, a healed Kruger meets with Delacourt, who scolds his for his actions. Infuriated by this, Kruger attacks and kills Delacourt. Following his orders, Kruger's men then start attacking the officials on Elysium. Meanwhile, Max, searching for Fry, learns that Spider is on Elysium. As Kruger also sets out to find Max, one of his men tries to harm Frey. Just then, Max arrives and fights him, but soon Kruger's other ally appears and shoots Max. Surviving the shot, Max fights back, kills the attacker, and then takes Fry and Matilda to safety. Max instructs Fry to enter a house and place Matilda inside the healing machine, but Frey explains that the machine won't work for Matilda because she lacks Elysium citizenship. In response, Max reassures her that he will change Elysium's system to make it work, and he sends Frey and her daughter ahead. Max then encounters Spider, and together, they head toward Elysium's control center. As they move forward, Kruger confronts them, leading to an intense fight between Max and Kruger. After a fierce battle, Max overpowers Kruger and finally gains access to the control room on Elysium. Spider and Max reach the control center, where they prepare to upload the data from Max's brain into Elysium's system. Spider realizes that this process will be fatal for Max and warns him. Acknowledging this, Max reassures Spider that he understands and asks him for the keyboard. At the same time, he contacts Fry, who is with Matilda in a medical chamber, and reminds her of the promise he made when they were young. Then, Max presses the necessary key on the keyboard, initiating the upload of all his brain's data into Elysium's system. As the upload completes, Max passes away. Meanwhile, President Patel and his team, who were trying to force open the door to the control center, finally enter and arrest Spider. However, Elysium's system reboots, automatically recognizing Matilda's leukemia and curing her completely through the medical equipment. The robots, now reprogrammed by the system, saying that civilians like Spider cannot be arrested, Spider is released. With Elysium's system now granting all Earth's residents access, medical shuttles are deployed to Earth to offer treatment to everyone in need. In the end, Max's sacrifice unlocks Elysium for all people on Earth, concluding the movie. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Stay tuned for more exciting movie breakdowns, and see you in the next one.